The time of the olive harvest in Israel and the Palestinian territories has begun. In East Jerusalem, at the foot of the mount, whose name derives from this ancient tree, the ritual is well established. The Franciscans, guardians of the holy site, where Jesus prayed on the night of Holy Thursday before he was arrested, have some 300 olive trees in this area. Following a tradition that has now been going on for years at the hermitage of Gethsemane, the friars of the custody proposed to the locals and to volunteers of all ages and provenance working for the Holy Land to dedicate a day or even just a few hours to the harvest.
It's a very old tradition, and the theme of our crop is not without significance. In harvesting, we learn how we are harvested, that is, by God. It's also a different way of being here in the Holy Land. It's not just visiting the holy sites, but diving in and returning to the earth. Also, the fact of harvesting, of giving our attention to a task, because it is also tiring to harvest the olives, bending down. In this way we learn how God bends down towards us and gathers us together.
The fruit of these days' work is transformed into the oil of Gethsemane, which is sent to the Franciscan convents of the Holy Land, and which the pilgrims can also take home in exchange for a freewill offering. The cultivation of olives is a practice whose origins are lost in history. In the Mediterranean area, there is evidence of an agricultural interest for this plant already in the 3rd millennium before Christ. Already in the days of Jesus, many olive trees followed one another along the outskirts of the Holy City. One can imagine that the images of those who harvested the fruits were not very different from those seen in our own day. In both the Israeli and the Palestinian regions, the presence of the olive still carries much significance, not only as a dominant element of the landscape, but also with all its historical and symbolic meaning.
Ci sono tanti olivi in Terra Santa e la Terra Santa è ricca anche di questo albero così conosciuto.
There are many olive trees in the Holy Land. The Holy Land has an abundance of this tree that is so well known. We recall its symbolism as the tree of peace, with the olive branch carried by the dove. The olive also has an ancient meaning, not only for the normal use that we make of it, but also in its symbolic meaning. It has a meaning in its perfume, and also in its liturgical use. It becomes the chrism that we use for baptism, for confirmation, and priests are also anointed. This recalls the royal, priestly, and prophetic anointing that all of us have received in the gift of baptism.
Tutti quanti noi abbiamo ricevuto nel dono del battesimo.